If you've never made cheese at home, do you know that it's actually shockingly easy?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to use citric acid and Rennet to show you how to make 2 different cheeses at home. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. And here on WTF, every week we transform food with unique ingredients, techniques, and show you new recipes that hopefully will excite you to try something new and exciting in your kitchen. So if you like what you see, remember subscribe and ring the bell and you'll get notified of our content. It comes out every single Tuesday. And today we're going to cover something really fun, which is DIY cheese at home, right? So if you love cheese, maybe you've never had like fresh cheese that you made it yourself, it's an amazing experience, totally different from what you get, in the store that's been sitting on the shelves. And it's really surprising how easy it is. So we're excited to kind of show you a couple different types of cheeses that we've made, and Scott's going to do something live.
Yes.
So,
great. So the 2 different types of cheeses that we're going to kind of cover are quick mozzarella and also a quick ricotta. So the reason why they're called quick mozzarella, quick ricotta is that generally some cheeses are made by the day before's whey is then fermented overnight. It becomes acidic, and then it is used the next day to make the cheese. So it's constantly like a constant process. At home, we don't have the luxury to make our own cheese every single day of our lives. So what we're going to be using is different types of acid, mainly citric acid and rennet, and the rennet will be used to make the mozzarella. The citric acid will be used to make both of them.
okay, and can you talk a little bit about maybe, I know citric acid, we've talked about acids a lot, we have a whole episode about it, you can get in the link in the description below, but rennet, for someone who's never made their cheese, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, so rennet, initially when rennet was found and people realized that they could make cheese out of it, it was from the stomachs of animals. Well, this is a microbial rennet that comes in tablet form, and the tablets then can be used to make quite a bit of cheese. So what this does is it coagulates or curdles the milk in a specific way that allows it to be that nice stringy mozzarella that we're looking for. Whereas the citric acid, which is just the citrus or the acid from citrus fruits, will then kind of turn into that curds and whey that you see in ricotta.
Okay, and so because this particular rennet, it is vegetarian, so it is suitable if it's not made from any animal products. And then also one of the things that kind of sometimes people are surprised by is that you have this little packet. It comes in a packet of 10 tablets, and like, oh, I'm going to make 10 pounds of cheese. But how much cheese are you really going to be making with this much rennet?
So one of these tablets, and I can pop one out of here just so you can actually see the size of it, makes 50 liters of milk into cheese. So that 50 liters is about 13.1 gallons or so. So that's a lot. And there's one misconception is that, oh, well, if I just want to make this, 1 gallon, I can just use this one tablet. But too much rennet will then cause too much of a reaction, and you will not end up with the correct curd. So you're going to have to break it down a little bit, and it's very nice actually. Let me pop it back out so you can see. You may be able to see that there's a little cross hatch on the back that you can just use a knife, apply gentle pressure, it'll split apart. Pretty much for 1 gallon, I like to use about 1/8 of a tablet. So anything below that too, if you're making half a gallon, I just use 1/8 of a tablet and we're pretty good to go. But yeah, you don't want to throw a whole tablet in there just to say, oh, well, more's better, and you're not going to end up with a better cheese because of that. Okay, and what is the process for making your own mozzarella? I think that's not what we're demoing today, We're not demoing mozzarella here, but mozzarella is a longer process, so it's not a 20-minute. Even though it's quick mozzarella, it's not like a 20-minute cheese. So mozzarella would be a raw milk. So you're going to have to find a place that provides you with raw milk. You can't use ultra pasteurized. You can't use that homogenized, the stuff that you find in a normal grocery store, because even if you do add the rennet, you acidulate it properly with the citric acid, it's just going to turn into pretty much ricotta. Okay. So the curds will break down in a specific way because they've already been broken down by the heating process that's done to the milk for the ultra pasteurization. ultra pasteurization. So raw milk is what you want, something that comes straight from the cow. It's not heated, it's not treated. So you're going to take that, you're going to heat it to a specific temperature. It's 55 degrees. Then you're going to have to add your acid. So the recipe is on the blog. It's very specific. You want to get that milk to between 5.1 pH and 5.3 pH. We have done the math for you so that it, for half a gallon, it is, 2.6 grams of citric acid. That's where it's going to bring you to about, that 5.1 to 5.3 range. Anything above that, we found that the curds become too firm and it doesn't pull the correct way. Anything below that, it starts to break down into almost a ricotta. So that nice sweet spot is where we want it, or else you're not going to get the nice pull, the stretch, the feel of a mozzarella. You're going to end up with more like a poutine style cheese curd with that kind of squeaky cheese. So that's a very specific thing you need to do. And then you're going to heat it up to 88 degrees. And at that point, you're going to add your small amount of rennet into into some water, and then you mix it in and let it sit. The big thing you want after that is, after you let it sit for 20 minutes, is that you're going to take a little spoon, and this is not it, but you're going to put your spoon in and it'll split, almost like a custard. Think of it like a flan. You know how you break it and it kind of separates perfectly? That's exactly what you look for. At that point, you cut it into 1-inch kind of squares, and you gently heat it to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. All of this is done in an Instagram post that we did because it's a longer process, but you can see everything that goes into it. From there, then you'd strain it off, and when you strain it off, then you could take those curds, put on some just before boiling water, so about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, you can then pull your cheese into mozzarella, and this is mozzarella that we have. And one distinct quality you want is that when you do slice a mozzarella, you can see all the milk that kind of pours out of it, right? Because it holds onto a lot of that moisture. So that's what keeps it nice and soft and melty. If it gets too hot during that process where we're doing the pulling, it's going to tighten up and it's going to kind of expel all that, and then you're going to get really hard, pieces of cheese. So there's a lot that goes into it, and we wrote a really detailed recipe. It's on the blog, so you can look for it there, and it tells you all the little steps of it. And it tells you how many times I messed it up, pretty much. So, and raw milk tends to be a little bit expensive, so you want to make sure that you follow the process to a T, so you don't end up with something that does not work. But we made a few different things with it, because with mozzarella comes really great, delicious food. So we made the first thing I'm going to show you is just a mozzarella toast. So I took those curds and I heated them up gently, and I laid them over the bread. And that bread's starting to soak up any of that milkiness that came from the mozzarella itself. It was super crispy. You want to get a nice like sourdough or some sort of bread that's going to hold up to it. Stay crispy, but it's going to soak up that moisture. And then we have a nice salad that we're going to put over the top. So we have some fennel here that we've shaved, some artichokes, some grapefruit, and then also some garlic confit. This whole thing, how to make all of this, is on the blog. So we're going to take this and just kind of dress the top of this so we get that nice warm cheese on that nice warm bread with a nice cool salad. Right. So we get a nice little dish.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah. And it's a kind of a healthier take on avocado toast, It's not healthier. That's the joke.
Nobody heard that.
So, great. So we have that really beautiful kind of mozzarella toast. So as you cut it, you get that nice stringiness from the fresh mozzarella. The best way to do this is you have your toast, and then you have your mozzarella curd, and you make the mozzarella right there. So the best way is you get that super fresh pulled mozzarella, you take it out of the brine and put it right on top as it's nice and hot, and then you're able to serve it. It's just a little bit difficult to do on screen. So, but yeah, that's what makes it the best, and you have this really chewy, beautiful mozzarella with the salad on top. Right.
Yeah, that looks delicious. And if you do want the recipe, links are always in the descriptions below. And again, go to Instagram at Modernist Pantry, and you can basically see the process of making mozzarella from start to finish.
Yeah, and then we also have chicken parm, because mozzarella is like, I know it's called chicken parmesan, but it's really mozzarella that goes on top of it. So we made our own chicken parm. We updated one of our recipes. It's original chicken cutlet that uses EverCrisp. EverCrisp is an ingredient that keeps things crispier for longer. links in the description below for other episodes that cover EverCrisp and all those things. But Janie, if you wanted to try that, because I'm about to set up this demo, so we can actually see some cheese being made.
I will. And I was also going to try to take a little piece of that fresh mozzarella over there, too.
Yeah, take a little bit right here.
I certainly will.
I like to make my mozzarella nice and briny, so the salt content is all up to you guys. I like mine to be nice and briny, that way I don't have to season it afterwards. So you get a nice bit of salt in there, but it brings out all those beautiful flavors.
Oh, that's super good.
Yeah. We have some chicken parm, which is always a favorite.
It really is. I don't think you can ever get sick of chicken parm.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stir up this milk, and this milk for ricotta is just ultra pasteurized, homogenized milk that you find at a grocery store. And what I did with this is that I heated it to about 170 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Just until I started to form skin on top. It's totally fine. You can just leave it, just pull it off to the side. It's going to be fine inside your cheese. And what I did here is I took some citric acid and I made a citric acid solution.
Okay.
So this is citric acid and water. It just kind of helps the acid mix in a lot quicker in here. You could pour straight citric acid, granules in there or powder in there, but this is just a solution that makes it very easy. And when it's at this temperature, if I add in my citric acid, right? And the reason why we use citric acid is it gives it a nice clean flavor. You can use things like vinegar or lemon juice, but usually when I use vinegar or lemon juice, and as you can see right now, it's already coming apart, right? So vinegar or lemon juice do kind of impart slight flavors. I like the cleanliness of a citric acid, just a really kind of clean flavor. So I'm just going to turn this up just a little bit. So you saw it separate immediately.
Yep.
So technically our cheese is made. So this is a nice fresh cheese, right? And I'm able to pull out the curds. Just want to fully separate it.
So that's literally just a few seconds.
Yeah, it happens almost immediately. So there's different things that you can do with this. Now that I have these curds made, I can pass them through a super bag, and through the super bag, in 5 minutes I'll be able to serve this.
Okay.
So it's a really kind of wet ricotta. It's good for dips. It's good for things that you want to spread on lasagna or whatnot. But if you strain it more and more and more, so the more time you strain it, the drier it gets. It's good for things like a gnudi, which is a ricotta gnocchi, or a filling in a pasta. So the longer you strain it, the more dry it's going to get. You can see the ricotta right here.
Yep.
Right? See those beautiful curds. And all you just need to do is go through the drying process, or the straining process.
Okay.
And it works great through a super bag just because the super bag's so fine that it's not going to let any of those grains get stuck in the strainer, which happens very, very commonly. Cool. So that's that. And we have this dish here, so it's very simple. It's just ricotta. There's some cherry peppers that have been roasted on top, some sage, and a little bit of olive oil that's been drizzled around if you wanted to put it on a piece of
yeah. I don't know why I didn't see this toast. It's literally in front of me, but I was like,
yeah, and make sure you get the cherry peppers. The good thing about the cherry peppers is that some of them are hot and some of them are not. So it's kind of a fun little thing to do on a plate if you like spice.
I'm going to skip the cherry peppers for now. But I will say that I love the mozzarella over there that I just had. Like it would be perfect with just fresh and seasoned tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like
so if you
really
want to make a caprese salad, you can make your own mozzarella, and that's also nice if you do a hot, fresh mozzarella with a nice cold tomato. You get that nice hot cold kind of effect. So.
Oh, this is super good too.
It's nice and creamy, nice and fresh.
Yeah, it's so fresh and like light and just cream. It's super good, and I love, for a lazy person like me, how quick that was to do.
Yep.
Like anybody can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can start seeing them separate really, really well here as it begins to heat up. I just like to bring it up to just below simmering, and then I start to really get these nice curds in there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's really about following the recipe and following it to a T. And cheese making is one of those things that it's going to take a little bit of time for you to really get, but hopefully we did our best in making sure the recipe is easy to follow, and mozzarella would be not too difficult for people now.
Yeah, so just remember, if you do want to make some quick and easy cheeses at home, the citric acid for ricotta, and also these little rennet tablets. over here for a mozzarella.
Yep.
So give it a shot. Hopefully you love it. You can get our recipes below, and if you do try, leave your comments, leave your questions. We love hearing from you. And as always, from the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Garrett.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell so you get notified when we drop a new video.
To get today's recipes and all of our recipes, remember to go to blog.modernistpantry.com, where you get recipes, Ask a Chefs, tips and tricks, and more.
And if you haven't already, tell a friend so they know what's going on here at WTF.
And as always, to get any of the ingredients you saw today, you can go to modernistpantry.com to shop.
And until next time, we'll be here in the test kitchen helping you create memorable and magical experiences.